welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dani and this is Coffee Break with Dani. Today we are continuing with our declutter series, and as much as the type A super organized compulsive person that I am would love to not add this to the declutter series because it's more of like a collection, we are here. I think ultimately what a decluttering series turns into is a makeup collection, because you end up realizing I didn't brush my hair for you guys. You end up seeing what we keep, which then ultimately means that's our collection. You know, I'm the overthinker, notorious overthinker. Do you know how many videos I have bookmarked on my Instagram about, like, if you're an overthinker, watch this. And it's all so profound, but I don't do any of it. You don't tell me what to do. If I could stop being that way, don't you think I would have tried already? Rather, I already have. I can't. Anyway, this is Coffee Break with Dani, the world of long introductions. We are going to do our powder product declutter today. I have them sitting in front of me. I do not have many for very Dani reasons. I've actually never been a powder person. It's not something that really excites me. It's not something that I've ever been like, woohoo! Like, I find one that I like and then I just stick to it, and then they probably discontinue it and then I stick to another one. Or someone recommends one and then I just love it and then I stick with it. Or they recommend one and I hate it. I think there's only one powder in here that we are going to get rid of. So I'm going to give you guys a little close-up of what we have in this beautiful Muji case that's full of powder residue. Mind your business. We got the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose. We have the Bio Blurring one from House Labs, the Lady Gaga brand. We have a little one, he's a little and chubby just because it's cute. Just kidding, this is what I take for travel. It's the same as this guy. Then we have the Halo Glow, I think it's called. Halo Glow Setting Powder from e.l.f. Laura Mercier, no. Ooh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry, Charlotte Tilbury. I know you fancy. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. And then the Ilia, I don't even know what this one's called. CoverGirl, I think this is a powder foundation. Pressed powder, CoverGirl Clean Fresh Pressed Powder. And this one was in a recent PR haul, the Translucent Medium Real Flawless Luminous Perfecting Pressed Powder. So we're gonna go through these one by one. I wanna say I'm gonna get rid of maybe one. Okay, before we get into it though, I do wanna talk to you guys about a comment that I get, and maybe my English interpretation is incorrect. So I'm trying to understand, because I want to do these videos to better suit the type of decluttering videos you like to watch. I'm not saying I want you to tell me what to do. No, I'm just saying, how can I make them more understanding? Because I think what I've been doing is I show you a close-up, I pull out one by one, I talk to you a little bit about it, and then I sort it in piles, and then at the end I say this is what I'm ending up with. But I think what you guys are asking me is, show me what you end up with, but also show me again what you're throwing away. So, like, basically do the video twice. Once slow with descriptions, and then at the very end recap quickly. Am I interpreting that correctly? Because I think what I'm not doing is showing you what I'm getting rid of for a second time. But I am linking everything in the description the way that I mention it, or in the order that I talk about it. So is that right? Anyway, let me know in the comments. If you guys haven't been watching the Declutter series, I'll have a playlist linked down below. We've already done foundations, concealers, primers, and I think that's it. So today we are going to do powders, and we are going to get started with my favorite, my holy grail, the one that they better not discontinue or I'm going to cry, but I just jinxed it, so they probably will discontinue it. And that is the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose. This is what it looks like. It literally is the same exact thing in big and small. I think this was might have been like a sample gift with purchase type thing. I don't remember where I got it, but it's super nifty. I took this to co-parent sister's wedding for Mexico, and then I also took it again to Cancun when we went for our anniversary trip. It's the same stuff, just in little. The sifter and everything is the same too, so love that. I think they might even sell it that small. So Laura Mercier has 2, I think, or 3 types of translucent loose powders, setting powders. I don't want to say translucent. I think that takes I don't know if they're all called translucent because she actually has them in shades as well. They have a glow one, so the powder is a little bit more radiant. This is just the standard, the classic, the OG, the original, and I just get it in the shade translucent. This one works for me when I am tan, when I am not tan and I'm a little meaner, but it's the one that I use, and I've actually used it up like over and over and over again. I have the terrible habit of storing my it's not a terrible habit. I like to dump powder into the lid and then I dip my brushes or beauty blenders in the lid as opposed to using the sifter. So when I store them, I just store them upside down like that. And it prevents from what you just saw from happening. So just pretend that didn't happen. Pretend this is all just finesse. It is produced and there are no mistakes happening right now. And there's no ums or likes or that I have to cut out of this video. So this is a really nice powder. I like it because it plays really nice with almost, no, I don't even want to say almost, with all of the foundation type BB cream, skincare that I like to use. It gives you a soft focus. This is a heavy hand on purpose, just so that if you're into powder swatches, maybe you can get a glimpse. It's a very finely milled powder that is translucent, doesn't do a white cast. It actually feels like a powder though. I think we're having this, in the last couple of years, the way that the soft focus powders have taken this like shift into this almost like arrowroot flour or cornstarch feeling powder. If you're familiar with the kitchen and ingredients, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, have you ever had mochi, like mochi ice cream or mochi? You know that like dust on the outside, that feeling? A lot of the newer powders have that finish, and as much as it is comfortable to wear, I don't like how it looks on my skin, and I also don't like its absorbency. So when I look for a powder, I look for something that is going to play well with all of my base products, all of my BB creams, CC creams, foundations, concealers. I want one that plays well with all of them. I also want one that cooperates with cream products. I also want one that if I put it on like today, I did my makeup today, maybe at 9 or 10 in the morning. Right now it's 3:30 and I need it to last until 11 because we have tickets to a show. So the show I think starts at 8 or 9. And so I want it to be a powder that will play well with whatever's on my face. So right now I have cream blush, cream highlight, only concealer on my face. And as my face sweats, as the day goes on and the oils of your skin start to come to the surface, it does a really good job at absorbing them very seamlessly without your face looking like patchy. Or have you guys ever tried to put on, let's say, a primer and then you go in with a foundation and you try to wipe the foundation and then it sort of leaves like a patch look, like a streak? A lot of powders do that as well. This one from Laura Mercier never does that, and I really appreciate that. So the type of powder that it is, just imagine the feeling of an old school powder. That's what it feels like. A finely milled actual powder, not so much one of those blurring arrowroot rice flour feeling ones. So never ever gonna declutter this guy. Definitely my number one, my favorite. I've actually never even ventured out to playing with the ones that have tonality to them, like the ones that come in tones, like shades. I don't even mess with those. I just use that one all year round, and I don't think I have anything bad to say about it. I really don't. I really absolutely don't. Okay, another powder from Laura Mercier that actually is a recent find for me, and you guys saw it in a PR haul. This is the Real Flawless Luminous Perfecting Press Powder, and this is in translucent medium. So this is a really interesting product. I've noticed that when I use it, and you can tell it just a little bit goes a long way. I use a brush in this powder, not a beauty blender. So with the loose ones, I usually go in with my damp beauty blender, whatever I use for my foundation. With this one, I go in with a brush. Wow, did you see like that Freudian slip? That is how aggressive I visualize myself doing my makeup. So this guy here is really great for creating sort of a soft focus blurred look that looks like it's been on your face for a minute. It's right there. So the powder itself looks like, do you see that glow? It's almost like if a highlighter and a powder, a pressed powder, had a baby, because it doesn't have sparkle, but it does glow on your skin. So the way that I like to use it is I will actually do my makeup, finish whatever I need to do. Then if I need to touch up my makeup, I will blot whatever has come to the surface with a paper towel or a napkin, never a tissue, they don't absorb. And then with a big fluffy blending brush, I'll go in with this guy. So what it does is it doesn't disrupt my makeup, it re-mattifies my skin, adds the littlest hair of coverage, but it also makes my face look glowy. So like the makeup's been on my face for the day, but my face is just radiant. So I don't say that, like, it doesn't provide coverage. I don't use it to set my under eyes. I don't put any powder that glows like underneath, like to set my under eyes. I think it just emphasizes how many age expression lines I have under there. So it's just a really great, I would even say it's a finishing powder. So it's a Luminous Perfecting Pressed Powder. I would say this is a great finishing powder. So if you want a glowy, radiant finish, it would be great to just finish your T-zone and give yourself an overall glow. So we're definitely keeping that one. This is a powder that, to me, I have a bad reason for not liking it. Bear with me. How many of you guys have, found a product you love, but you just don't reach for it because of the applicator, or you just don't reach for it because too much comes out, or you don't reach for it because you don't like how bulky the packaging is? So for me, presentation is such a big deal, and ease of use is important. So with this powder, this is the Bio Blurring Loose Powder in the shade Translucent. This also comes in tones from House Labs. This is from Lady Gaga's brand. It used to be on Amazon, now it's on Sephora. Does this packaging look familiar to anyone? And that's the reason I don't use it. And I don't use it because I like to set my face with a sponge. And I can't put a sponge here, and I also can't dip powder into here because it has the stopper. So I have to get a separate container to do it. What I have thought about doing, and I don't know if you guys have ever taken it this far, but just popping out the sifter. Like, I would really do that. And I think, for example, the powder that I loved that got discontinued by Urban Decay, the One and Done on the Go. One and Done on the Go from Urban Decay. It used to have a lid with a brush on it. So the idea was you would screw off the brush and the powder would already be on the brush itself. I never used it that way, so I would just take off the entire lid and it was an open container. And so we don't have open container laws at Coffee Break with Dani, so I wouldn't mind having an open container with this powder, but I just forget to do it, and maybe I should do it now. Should we do it? What do you think? I think we should. I'm just terrified. I don't want to use my nails because I don't want to chip them. I just painted my nails and this is one of my favorite colors. And I probably shouldn't be using my tweezers either because I actually like these tweezers. You know what I should do is I should wait for Parker to come home because he loves these kind of busy jobs that I give him. Like, do you know the name of the filter that goes in the fridge? Because I need to order some more. I'll take care of it, ma'am. I know what filter it is, I just don't want to do it. And if you let them do something, they feel so useful, you guys. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a mess here. Yeah, I think we're gonna give this to my hot nerdy husband to open. But yeah, this is one of the reasons, the only reason why I don't use this powder. So do you see it has like pantyhose? There's pantyhose there, there's the powder. Let's do a little useless swatch right here. But it is definitely a blurring powder. It's so nice. It is sort of a hybrid. It feels like a standard powder with a little bit of that slip that I was talking about, that slippery texture from those really soft powders like rice flour. I hate talking about food ingredients when I'm talking about makeup, but that's what I know about and I can describe it better. I hope you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so we're gonna keep that, but we are definitely gonna pop it open. This is probably the only one that I am going to get rid of. I bought this Ilia powder on recommendation from Steph. Oh my gosh, I forgot her. She's like OG YouTube. Stephanie Letta, Steph XL, something like that. Do you guys remember Steph? She's still on YouTube, doesn't post as often. She had a baby, so cute. And she's obsessed with this powder. It's the Ilia Fade Into You Soft Focus Finishing Powder. I don't even want to open this powder. It really upsets me every time I do. It literally feels like arrowroot in a container, and it sits on my face. So it doesn't set my face or melt into my makeup. It just sits on top of it, and you can tell that I'm wearing powder, and the powder is exactly as white as you see it in the container. For me, it was a huge miss. For so many people, it is a huge win. So maybe it's a me thing, maybe it's a moisturizer thing, maybe it's a my primer thing, maybe I just have a thing with arrowroot feeling products, but I definitely didn't like it. I couldn't use it. It's white on my skin, and maybe I used too much, but that's just how I use powder, you know? So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, am I gonna modify my way of doing things every time I reach for this one versus everything else in my collection? Probably not. I think I'm a little creature of habit, you know? I think it's hard for me to change my ways at this point. This is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Pressed Powder in the shade Light. This was also a recommendation from Stephanie. She loved this. She actually talked about using it as a pressed powder foundation, that it's that good of coverage. I purchased the shade Light. It actually runs pretty deep. Like, this is the light. This is the shade Light. I would say it looks like a light medium, maybe a shade, half a shade or a shade darker than the name. Wow, that took me a minute. It's right there. It's good. Unenthused, I guess I could say. And because I don't dislike it, I'm like, well, maybe I should hold on to it, because this is actually a perfect shade for me when I'm not tan. So on those days where I just want to mattify my face with a tiny bit of tone, this is a really good option for that. So I'm thinking, I'm like, have I forgotten to use it because it's not my color match now? Or am I just not impressed with the product itself? Because I do remember using it or whipping it out in Get Ready With Me's. So I think we'll put that as a keeping it with the contingency or the rule of we better remember why we have it. Better remember to use it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, 2 of the same exact product. Why? I don't know. I don't know because none of them are empty status either. This is the Skin Perfecting Micro Powder from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Airbrush Flawless Finish in the shade Medium or shade 2. Let me open the other one. Yeah, look. Like, why am I this way? They're the same powder, the same tone, and neither of them have I hit pan in. That is odd. Let's remember this. Look how pretty that is. So for me, this was a powder that I would actually use for additional coverage. Yeah, you heard it here first. So when I would go in with my foundation, concealer, and all of that stuff, if I wanted a super duty coverage look, it's a lot easier for me to use a light to medium coverage foundation and then top it with a powder, than to go in with a heavy foundation. I have better results that way. And so this one is nice because not only does it give you a nice blurring effect because it is so fine, but it gives you just a little bit more coverage. So if you guys are like me, where a full coverage foundation feels a little bit too heavy on your skin, instead of using that with a translucent or lightweight powder, or no powder at all, you can go in with your usual favorite light to medium coverage, radiant glowy, dewy finish, whatever product, and then top it with a product like this one from Charlotte Tilbury. And the micro powder just creates a really nice additional coverage on your skin. And remember that when you're going in with the powder on top, you have that extra layer of protection or insurance that if you get sweaty or oily or whatever, it's going to serve as sort of your bounty paper towel, like in the commercials, you know, where it like saves the day and soaks up the water. When you apply a powder to your face, you have that added insurance or absorbency on your skin to prolong the wear of whatever's on your face. So do I need two? No, but I am sure, positive there is a great explanation for this. And then the last one that's in my box, and then we are done, is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. If you guys are looking for a very affordable drugstore powder that gives you the most beautiful radiant finish, don't be like me and do what I did, but it has a, hold on. It has a sifter and then a little slider, so you can actually close it and prevent this from happening, but that would make perfect sense. You know, and do things make sense around here? Never. This powder does also come in tones or shades, so you can get something that is more suited to you or your preference. That is a super heavy swatch, and I did it on purpose because I want you to see how white it looks. But then when you, actually, let's see. When you take your sponge, this is what I used today, which is why I'm using it intentionally as opposed to a clean one. It's still a little bit realistically damp. So when you take a sponge, so can you see the difference from the top, like from this tendon up, from this tendon up versus this tendon? So do you see how it just gave, you see the vein, you could see the colors of my veins. So it just gives you almost like a filtered look. That's the word I'm looking for. It looks like I applied a filter on top of my hand versus down here. So it's a really great option. It's a little alarming if you go in with a heavy hand because you're like, wow, oh my God, it is such a bright powder or such a, I don't know, it's gonna show up on my skin because it's so white, I guess, such a light shade. I don't know why I'm showing you guys how I Swiffer. Like this is a useful part of the video. Like this is how you Swiffer your powder drawer. It's just, it's an awesome, awesome drugstore choice. So this is another powder that I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna remove the sifters off of this one, the Laura Mercier, and the House Labs one. So we are going to hold on to the e.l.f. Halo Glow, the two identical copies of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. House Labs, actually I'm not putting this away because I want to remove the sifter. The two Holy Grail, the mama and the baby size from Laura Mercier, the Real Flawless Luminous, the CoverGirl that I'm going to remember to use. So overall, this is the collection and how it's going to end up. This is what we're keeping. Oh wow, didn't do a very good Swiffer job there. This is what we're going to keep. This is what we're not going to keep, but that's it. Like any and all my declutter videos, I will make sure to list and link all of these powders that I shared with you or any other products that I mentioned and didn't show you, that I was talking about. I'll make sure to list all of that in the description box of this video, along with my lip color, my earrings, my sweater, my necklace, everything, my nail polish, anything that I talked about, anything that you saw will be listed and linked in the description box of this video, including the previous decluttering videos that we have recorded already. Just revealed my age. Anyway, I love you guys so much, and you know what to do. If you found this video useful, entertaining, and learned something, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, this coffee break is over. Bye guys, I have to continue recording.